Chris here, and in this toy hunting video we are looking at all the stuff I bought from Kmart and Target, Big W, Op Shops and Toymate. So yes, we usually hang out with Ryan the Collector Kid, and we went to all these different places and I struck some gold, particularly in the MOTU, Masters of the Universe region. So I was quite happy to find some brand new figures that have just been released here in Australia. So let's look at all the stuff I picked up from my toy hunting trip, including this lovely cushion. Let's go. This is a bit of a toy hunting video. So the last couple of weeks I've managed to visit Kmart, Big W and Target in Perth and also in Joondalup. I was blessed recently to spend a morning with Ryan the Collector Kid. Definitely give him a follow on YouTube. And we did some op shopping and toy hunting at Toymate. And on the way there I thought I'll duck into Lakeside Joondalup, because they have Kmart, Big W and Target, just to see if they have any of the new He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Origins figures. I was particularly after King Randor, and also the new figures based on the 2002-2003 animated series. So their designs, which have only just been released. So I found all of the figures I was looking for, plus a few more, which I was very, very happy to find. So I was cautiously optimistic, and then it was definitely a nice surprise that my prayers were answered on this particular toy hunting day. So let's have a look at what I got. I've braved the Christmas shoppers that's starting already, but yes, very, very happy that I got to spend the morning with Ryan the Collector Kid, and we both came back with a nice little haul. Let's have a look at mine. So in Kmart I found King Randor. He was the only one on the shelf. Very happy to find that. As I say, on the Facebook groups I was notified that King Randor was hitting Australia, so I was like, oh, I don't know my chances, but it's definitely worth a look. So I'm very happy that I found him. So this is part of the cartoon collection, which is basically Mattel re-releasing the figures that looked like they did in the original 1980s He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon. So a lot closer than what they came out in the toys. This is what they actually look like on screen in the cartoon collection, with the Filmation logo on the bottom there. Is well, they're making a whole bunch of figures. Very happy to see. So I've got King Randor, and behind there you can see Stratos, Triclops and He-Man from the 2002 era series. So we'll look at those a bit later, but firstly, very happy, let's have a look at King Randor. Just like all the cartoon collection figures, he comes with a sticker which is reminiscent of the Filmation logo, the company that made the He-Man cartoon back in the 80s, the familiar logo of the Masters of the Universe. Wonderful castle grayscale background. Flip it over, and there's just two figures in this wave by the looks of it, which are the parents of Prince Adam, who turns into He-Man. So we've got King Randor and Queen Marlena, who was the Earth astronaut. So I'm looking to find her. You can tell that this is the European release, I think, because it doesn't have any text here, so nothing on the back, just the character names. But yes, definitely looks like he did in the cartoon. Let's have a closer look. Also, a bit of a tip from me: these cartoon collection stickers can easily come off the bubble, and actually pretty good to add to your toy shelf. That is what I've done. I've added some of these stickers onto my cartoon collection toy shelf, so don't throw away the packaging necessarily. But here we go. Here's King Randor, and like all Origins figures, he comes with a little pamphlet which tells you which parts are removable. Comes with a mini comic, just like the vintage figures did, and this is pretty awesome. It tells about how Randor and Marlena met. Randor is telling his son, Prince Adam, and we've got Keldor, who becomes Skeletor, Randor's brother, in there as well. And there's Marlena. I'm looking forward to getting her as well. And just like all other Origins figures, he comes with a couple of accessories. So he's got his funky looking scepter. This looks like a mushroom or a flower or something, just done in two colours, red and gold, which is pretty cool, and a cool little sword, all done in one colour as well. So there's a comic, little pamphlet there, two accessories, and Randor himself. They've definitely nailed the look with these simple primary colours. He's kind of got Superman colours, hasn't he? Red, yellow and blue, or the regular articulation that we would expect from the Origins cartoon collection figures. The crown isn't removable like it was in the vintage figure, but a lovely portrait there. You can just hear his voice just looking at this figure. The medallion, that doesn't move, and thankfully this is a soft plastic, his little coat jacket there. The red tunic is a bit hard, but yeah, as I said, you can take his arms off if you want to. He's been injured in battle, and you can take the coat off and then just put the arms back on like so, if you want to give him a slightly different look. Not that you would need to really, but that just goes to some of the modular part swapping that the Origins figures can do. So very happy to get King Randor. It looks just like he did in the cartoon, and now we need Marlena. I've already got Prince Adam. He came with the Prince Adam Cringer set, I believe, probably a year or two ago. But very happy. King Randor, looking very kingly. I don't have the 1980s vintage figure of King Randor, and that's most of the one of the most expensive figures from the vintage line actually, but here I have the Masters of the Universe Origins line, which came out a couple of years ago, so very happy to get that. And as you can see, the colours are pretty similar. We've got the orange pants, the red kind of tunic, and the belts and the braces, the you know, all the ticking all the boxes, the blue little boots, all that kind of stuff. But obviously this is more like the cartoon, and that's more like the original 1980s toy. As excited as I was to find King Randor at Kmart for $19, the only one on the shelf I think when I grabbed him, I was even more excited to find the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe figures based on the 2002 to 2004 animated series from Mike Young Productions. So these I found at Big W, also for $19 each, and this is the whole first wave. These were announced at San Diego Comic-Con back in July this year, I believe. So these designs are more of the anime influenced, and yeah, but they basically look like the cartoon from the 2000 series. So for a lot of people, not necessarily myself included, but when He-Man came out in the 80s, we were very excited, and then all as adult collectors, it was rebooted in the early 2000s, and it brought back a lot of adult toy collectors. So this, I guess, in the Star Wars prequels, got a lot of people into action figure collecting for the first time, or perhaps rejuvenated that interest after they lost it in their youth. So I never really watched the 2002 series. This is in the days before Netflix and the internet, really, where streaming was easily available, so it was just on TV. I don't remember watching any of the episodes, and I haven't since caught up on the whole series, but I know it's very widely regarded. So this is based on the cartoon collection, despite the logo. It's not the Filmation logo. It's actually the Mike Young, but they've used the same logo for some reason. They've got the same logo from the 2000 series, and that design of the Castle Grayskull. We flip them over on the back, and again it's got the lovely image and the textless pictures on the back, which is very awesome. So here obviously we have star of the show He-Man, and we've got bad guy Triclops, good guy Stratos. I know I wanted these two in particular, but I saw all three there, and there were plenty of them on the shelf, so I thought, why not? I'll treat myself, and I grabbed all three. Just like the Origins and the cartoon collection figures, this also comes with a little pamphlet showing you what parts of the figure are removable. He only comes with one accessory, however, just fully unpainted, fully single color painted sword. This is the more intricate sword that is known from the animated series. A lot more techy than the simple sword. So no shield, no axe, just the sword. So, and he doesn't come with a mini comic, so none of these figures do, which is a bit of a disappointment. So yes, down from 2 accessories to 1, and down from a mini comic to no mini comic. Nonetheless, I'm happy that if that's what it takes to give us these figures, I'm happy with that compromise. So yeah, here we go. Here's He-Man in his more elongated form, so slightly lankier, very similar to the design of the 2000X series. You can see he's got the familiar, boots, longer loincloth, familiar belt, and the symbol on the harness and the blonde hair, and the different bucklers there, or bracelets, whatever, on the arms, and somewhat of a familiar harness with an actual proper place to put his sword at this time. So yeah, not a bad redesign. Keeps all the He-Man design things that we know and love, but gives it more of a modern feeling, at least for the 2002 series, which was over 20 years ago now. We're getting old, aren't we? But I do like this. There was a similar figure released in the Origins line with the same design, but this is a lot closer. So very happy to get this 2000X series He-Man in my hands. I don't have the He-Man Origins cartoon collection figure. It's actually on the way from Big Bad Toy Store. That's been released a while ago, but for comparison's sake, this is my vintage He-Man figure, so you can see how far he's come. But as I said, tick on all those boxes. And in the back, this is the DVD collection of the complete series of the 2000X series that this figure is based on. So you can see he's certainly taller, stands taller, a bit more lankier. Some people have criticised that the arms are a bit too long, but I actually don't mind it. I like the new face sculpt. Definitely got that kind of more animated style in keeping with the 2000 series. And not overly muscular, you know, a bit more realistic in his muscles, I guess. But certainly a different He-Man for the shelf. And it's pretty awesome that they've given him a new right wrist so he can actually hold the sword aloft as he should. So you'll notice that the right wrist gripping hand is slightly different than the left one, and that just makes him, for the first time in a while at least, able to hold the sword aloft, and that just looks glorious. Just like the He-Man figure we just looked at, this Triclops figure comes with a little pamphlet showing his removable parts. He also comes with one weapon, which is just his familiar green sword that all Triclops figures over the last 40 years have come with. And the 2000X series really kind of leaned into the sci-fi tech aspect of the characters more so than the barbarian side. So a lot of the redesigns were quite radical. In fact, you can see Cyclone on the back of Triclops' card. He was one of the most radical redesigns. But here, yeah, he's got bits and pieces all over and pipes and little tech things, which is, yeah, definitely a bold redesign of all of these characters. Triclops here also comes with the same gripping hand that He-Man has, so we can get his sword into a bit more dynamic poses. Articulation is the same as what we expect on the cartoon collection and Origins figures. So, you know, waist swivel, head, ball joints, elbows, biceps, knees, swivels, boot cuts, all that kind of stuff, and obviously the removable parts. He doesn't have a sheath or anywhere to put his sword, but that's okay, he can just carry it at all times. And obviously the thing that Triclops is known for, hence his name, not Cyclops, one eye, but Triclops with three eyes. So he's got different, I think there's like telescopic and X-ray and something else we can just change. So it's the same eyes, just in different colours. Mine here is a bit stiff, but that's okay. So we've got blue, green, oh gosh, and orange, and that gives him different sight. But yeah, you can see just all the little tech parts. You can see what I mean. They're definitely more tech oriented and a bit more armoured up. I wasn't going to get him, but I'm very glad that I did. It'll lead at least one villain so far. I'm curious to see how long and how deep this line goes. I don't have a vintage Triclops figure, but on the right here is the Origins Triclops figure, based not on the cartoon like this is, not on the vintage cartoon, but this is based on the vintage figure, and you can see how much simpler the design is, but also how much different the green is and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot darker here, and the eyes on the Origins figure are different. They have a different design as well, just slightly. So yes, red, blue, and another different red, but they have a slightly different design on each eye. But otherwise you can definitely tell that this is both Triclops figures, and it looks a bit odd like that, doesn't it? But yes, very happy to have two versions of Triclops. And finally, here is the Winged Warrior Stratos, or Stratos. I have always said Stratos. He was one of my favourite characters from the 80 series as well, and he is the third and final figure in this line of figures based on the 2000 series. So he also comes with the little pamphlet showing his removable parts. And Mattel do like putting plastic ties on their character. As to say, he had, I think, about 4 or 5, or maybe 6 or 7, I don't know. I lost count of all the ties I was snipping off for the different wings and limbs and accessories. But I do like this redesign. Again, just like all of them, keeping the familiar design elements and the colors. So he does come with the little red and blue winged gauntlets separate, and you do need to put those on, and the best way to do that is just to remove his hands, which, as I said, they are removable, and then you just flick this over and then just plug it back in. And yeah, the plastic is very pliable, so his hands can grip onto the little controllers there. So different interesting redesign. So he's got a bit of a jetpack, and he's got like elements on the backpack there, and also little Iron Man like ankle calf thrusters. So again, leading into that tech designed aesthetic. But yeah, he's pretty cool. I like this character. I like this look. I don't actually have a vintage figure, in fact, of Stratos, and I don't actually have any figures from the 2000 line. When it first came out, I do have a Staction figure of Snout Spout, which is the elephant firefighter. But all the Four Horsemen Design Studio, known now for their Mythic Legions figures, they really made their mark designing all the original figures back in the 2000s for the action figures based on this animated series. So hence the wonderful redesigns. But yes, here is Stratos, the feathery friend, and wonderful card back, and it looks like we may be getting Buzz Off in the future as well, which is another wonderful redesign. So I'm going to keep buying these because they're pretty cool. He is very posable, thankfully, with the little wings. So these wings just go up or down. They can pivot, and they can also go out as well. So yes, I'm glad that you can get some posing, and it looks pretty awesome. So we'll take up a bit of shelf space, I guess. We can just got to tuck those wings in. And here on the right, I have the cartoon collection Stratos, which is based on the Filmation cartoon, the 1980s cartoon, not the 2000 cartoon like this guy is. And again, you can see, much like the Triclops figure, this guy has brighter colours. The 2000 redesign has a lot more darker colours, but hitting those familiar beats as well. I wasn't expecting to see Stranger Things action figures in my toy hunt, but I grabbed these at the same time when I grabbed the MOTU cartoon collection 2000X figures. So these are 11 and Demogorgon. I don't know if the Demogorgon is to scale, it looks a bit small, but they look pretty cool nonetheless. They're made by Jazzwares. So Jazzwares is not one of the hugest toy manufacturers, but they're probably known most commonly for Squishmallows and stuff like that. So yeah, pretty happy to find these. So there's 3 in this wave, so the only one I didn't see was Dustin. There's obviously a lot of Stranger Things merch, but not a lot of action figures out there. Packaging is pretty simple but pretty cool, and obviously with the final season now out, which is it's all Stranger Things is on everyone's mind at the moment. So let's crack open 11 Demogorgon. I like the picture that's behind the bubble on the card back, this creepy blue lit forest. So these figures are from season 5, the final season of Stranger Things, and as I said, we have the 2 figures. So they're pretty small, but these are part of the world of Stranger Things scale. That's what the package says. So maybe there's more accessories or playsets coming in a bigger scale, bigger size, so these characters can interact with them, who knows. But yes, from season 5, so we've got 11 here, pretty limited articulation and a bit spindly, but they are pretty small figures, but good enough for what you expect. Not hugely detailed, but they've done a pretty good job filling the character. Blue bandana or mask, the red shorts over the grey jumpsuit, and she comes with 4 different accessories. I don't know what they all are or what they relate to, but I'm sure once we watch season 5, which isn't out yet as I record this, it'll make sense. Some kind of juice bottle, cool backpack, a lovely chunky 80s walkie-talkie or mobile phone, potentially, actually early mobile phone, and what is that, some kind of canned good, beef jerky in a can by the looks of it. So yep, that's pretty cool. And then we have the Demogorgon classic D&D and Stranger Things modster. Very simple colours, but very accurate to the design of the show. Basically just mainly green with a bit of red highlights and dry brushing to give a bit of texture. And he comes with 1 accessory. In the packet I thought, oh, that is an egg, but no, it's a swappable head. So he can pop his open mouth off, much like the Predator. He's got the mandibles, and that's when his head is all closed, and that just pops on his head. So a couple of cool figures from the Stranger Things line. Will I get any more? Potentially, if I see them in shops. I can't remember how much these were, but they weren't too expensive. So after I'd done my shopping at Big Dobie and Kmart and all that kind of stuff, Ryan and I met up and we hit a few op shops around his neck of the woods. So definitely give Ryan, the collector kit, a follow. He always finds gold at the op shops. I'm very impressed at the retro games and stuff he finds. We didn't find a lot of stuff, at least I didn't. I found a few things that I was tempted to buy, but I thought better of it. But yeah, keep an eye out for Ryan's video for the stuff he did buy. But on one of the last op shops we visited, we saw this cushion. So Ryan spotted it before I did. This huge, wonderful DC focused cushion. It's got Superman, Batman, Green Lantern on the flash on it. It's only $3, so I thought I'd grab it, and that'll go nicely with all my other geeky focused cushions on my couch. And then our last visit for the day was a trip to Toymate, and we had a bit of a wander around Toymate in Joondalup. Each Toymate is very, very different. Normally I go to the Toymate in Cannington, but the one in Joondalup had a few different things as well. I didn't buy a lot there either. I only bought 2 things, in fact, after all that I saw there, and these are the 2 things I bought. I bought this little Witcher Minix figure, so this will be a gift for one of my friends in the D&D, in my Dungeons & Dragons group. But yeah, $6 is pretty good, and they had a whole bunch of different ones. There's like Wednesday and Naruto and all that kind of stuff. So they're kind of like Funko Pops, I guess, just stylized versions of different characters. But yeah, he looks pretty cool. I also saw a Jurassic Park Hot Wheels, so I only pick up the Hot Wheels if they're kind of movie themed. And I was chasing the Jurassic Park one actually, so the classic car from the first movie. So that'll go on the shelf with my other Hot Wheels movie focused cars. I've got like Batmobile and Jaws and Back to the Future, all that kind of stuff. So just 2 things from Toymate from me. Look at that, pretty good evidence of a of a wonderful toy haul. So thanks again to Ryan for spending the morning with me. It was quite fun just going op shopping and toy hunting. So yes, we've got King Randor, a couple of Stranger Things, wonderful cushion at the back from the op shop, Jurassic Park and The Witcher from Toymate, and the 3 MOTU 200X cartoon collection figures, which have just hit the shores and the shelves here in Australia. So very happy to find all of this stuff, and yeah, here's to more successful toy hunting in the future. Goodbye, geeks.